Welcome to the In Love with PMDD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and I help you stop the monthly PMDD breakups. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It is in approximately 1 in 5 women, and it makes you want to break up with your partner approximately 1 to 2 weeks before your period every single month. So as someone who has suffered with PMDD for over 18 years, I dedicated my doctorate practice to helping partners navigate those monthly PMDD breakups with everything from attachment styles, triggers, sensitivity to noise, sensitivity to touch, all of the things that you really struggle with when you're in PMDD. And I also dedicated my dissertation to a phenomenological study of the relationship experiences of partners of individuals who suffer with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So I'm not just here to help the sufferer, the one who is suffering with PMDD. I am here for the partners as well. So if you need those private sessions, make sure you go to inlovewithpmdd.com and get those tools. So let's get into this week's PMDD trauma transformational tools that is going to help you stop the monthly breakups and stop the suffering and stress in your PMDD relationship. Let's get into it.
Today, we are going to be talking about the worrying that goes on with your PMDD relationship with your partner, the stress that is associated with that. We're going to talk about why we worry about our PMDD relationship. And I am a victim of this because every single time I go into PMDD, I have so many irrational worries about my relationship, about my partner, and it causes me to spin out and feel like I want to go directly into PMDD rage because the worry is uncontrollable. Because if you ever think about worry, which comes from fear, it is you worry about one thing, which turns into another thing and turns into another thing. And the damage that's done is when you bring those worries to your PMDD partner and you're expecting them to tell you something that is going to ease those worries. And what it really does is it causes your PMDD partner to be anxious. It causes them to feel like they're being blamed for something, like they're being judged, like they're doing something wrong. There's been so many times where I have had hours of spinning in my mind about worries about our PMDD relationship, about my partner himself. And I've kind of held it to myself because of time constraints. Like maybe if we're both working during the day, so I'm holding it in. But then when I finally talk to my PMDD partner about it, it has done so much damage because imagine these scenarios, and this is normally how it goes for me. It's my PMDD partner is working all day. I'm working all day. I have private clients. I have things going on. I have our daughter with, she has activities and walking the dog, and he has things, and I have chores and errands. And so through the course of my day, as I'm going through all of these other activities and things that I'm doing, the worries are in the back, or sometimes it feels like in the front of my mind as I'm doing all of these things, and I'm trying to navigate them on my own. But it almost seems like a ping pong match where every single time I challenge a worry, it gets the ball gets thrown back on my side of the court, because if I say, oh no, maybe that's not true because of this, then it's like, well, what about this? So back and forth all day long, I'm going through ping pong thoughts of worry, which creates a sense of fear, which creates a sense of anxiety. And I'm having all that bottled up because it's going on no matter what I do, it's just following me along my day. And so by the time I see my PMDD partner at the end of the day when he's off work, or I talk to him at the end of the day when he's off work, I am dumping all of my worries onto him. I am asking him questions that are alluding to are these worries really going to happen? I'm asking him questions, but I'm not asking questions just to ask. I'm asking questions to see if some of those worries that are going on in my mind are actually going to come true. And I'm doing it in a way of desperation, because it's like when I'm filled with this anxiety, when I'm already have anxiety and PMDD, and then these worries and intrusive thoughts, these lies are going on in my mind. By the time I'm talking to my partner, I'm needing him to tell me that these worries are false, that they're not true. I'm needing him to comfort me. But the way that I'm doing it is in a way that's counterproductive because I'm doing it in such an anxious way. I'm asking him questions. And as the worries pop into my mind, now I'm popping them into his mind and I'm asking him. He calls it shotgun blasting, which means I'm saying thing after thing after thing that is worrying me, that is causing it to worry him and causing him to have anxiety. And I do it in a way that's very intense. So, say if my PMDD partner is coming off work and he's tired and he's stressed and he's just calling to have a loving conversation, or he's, coming home to just have a loving embrace, and he's being met with this anxious, worrisome PMDD partner, it catches it catches your PMDD partner off guard a lot of times. A lot of times they're not prepared to deal with the worry, all of the worry that's going on in your brain because it's so intense and you've had time to think about it because you've been maybe thinking about it all day and it's been ruminating in your mind. But some PMDD partners need time to process what it is that you're saying. So with my PMDD partner, he does need time to process, but he also could shotgun blast right as soon as he hears it. He'll go into the arsenal and start talking about things that I've done in the past. So if any of my worries are about, you know, I'll give you an example. I use the same one all the time because every single time I go into PMDD, it comes up. And I will say, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get sleep because you're snoring. And I won't say it in that way, like, hey, I'm worried about this. I'll kind of say, he'll say, I'm coming home during this time and I'm going to spend this time at home. And immediately the worry will pop into my head. And I'm like, immediately, number one, I'm like frozen in fear. And I'm like, oh no, it's going to happen again. And by it, I mean, I'm not going to get sleep because he's not going to allow me to get sleep because he's going to be snoring all night. So it'll turn what he would assume to be a amazing response of like, wow, babe, this is what he's wanting to hear. Wow, babe, I'm so glad you're coming home. That's going to be amazing. We're going to have an amazing time. And what he is met with is a series of worries that I have in my mind instead. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to sleep in the other room? Are you going to sleep on the couch? Where am I going to sleep? Then my back is going to hurt. And it is a form of catastrophizing because I'm going to give you the three phases of worry, and it's really going to break down how you worry and what you can do about it. The first step is the method of spiraling. So when you're spiraling, you're really telling one story and then another story and then another story, and it's all connected together, but it's all doom and gloom, right? It's all about this is going to happen and then this is going to happen. So in my mind, when I'm doing the spiraling with the worrying about me sleeping, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's going to come, he's going to come in the bed, he's going to snore. I'm going to feel obligated to stay in the bed because I'm going to feel bad about getting out of the bed because I know he likes when I'm in the bed, and then I'm going to lay there and then I'm not going to get any sleep, or then I'm going to try to force myself to get sleep. I'm going to put headphones on. I'm going to do all these things. And the more that those things don't help me get sleep, I'm going to get more irritated, more frustrated, be like that cartoon where it's like the eyeballs, like it's pitch black dark and it has the two eyeballs and it's just blinking. And then I'm going to get up to go to in the other room to sleep. And then he's going to ask me where I'm going. And then I'm going to be so frustrated that I'm going to yell that I'm going into the other room to get sleep because you're snoring. And then after that, I'm going to go into the other room to sleep. But then I'm going to feel too guilty to sleep because I'm going to be thinking about the look on his face and his reaction of wanting me in the bed. And then all of a sudden, I'm not going to get any sleep still, even though I'm sleeping in the other room. He's going to wake up the next day. We're going to have a whole bunch of activities to do. And I'm not going to be ready for any of those activities. I'm going to be cranky because I'm going to be sleepy. That is a indication that I'm spiraling in worry because I'm going down the rabbit hole. I'm telling myself a story about this is going to happen and then this is going to happen and then this is going to happen. What happens when you tell yourself that story, your anxiety tends to increase because it's a fear of what you don't want to happen. But the more you talk about that fear, the more it becomes real to you. And then it's based off of facts, actual things that have happened to you in the past. So it's like, why wouldn't I believe this worry? Because this actually has happened to me before. So, and there's nothing that my PMDD partner is telling me that's going to make me feel like it's not going to happen again. So I'm going to worry, I'm going to worry, I'm going to worry, and then it's going to happen. And then I'm going to have a horrible time. So now, instead of being excited that my PMDD partner is coming to visit and for us to spend time together, and instead of him being excited to come home, I all of a sudden have all of this worry and this fear. And it causes us to look at our relationship differently. And in turn, it causes us to look at our partner differently, because now my partner is no longer a place of safety, of comfort, of joy and love and all these positive things. Now they're the cause of my suffering because I'm so worried that I'm not going to get sleep when I'm in PMDD. Now I'm using sleep as an example. I know a lot of my private clients, you can use infidelity. Say if your PMDD partner is leaving the house and they're going to do something and you know it's going to be other people there, and you fear and worry that your PMDD partner is going to cheat on you, even though your PMDD partner may have never cheated on you. Those worries that are in the back of your mind, which is a fear of you losing your partner, they may say, hey, I'm going to the store. And you see that they're going to the store and they look cute, they look attractive. And you think to yourself, well, I met them and I saw them and I was attracted to them. So if someone else sees them, they're going to be attracted to them. So now you're worried about what they're going to do when they go to the store. And now you're going into this spiraling. No, the next thing is the circling. So ultimately, your biggest fear about your PMDD partner going to the store is that someone else is going to find them attractive and they could potentially cheat on you. So now in your mind, while your partner is going to the store, you're thinking, my partner's going to cheat on me. My PMDD partner's going to cheat on me. They're going to cheat on me. I know they're going to cheat on me. They are going to cheat on me. They're 100% going to cheat on me. What is this doing? It is raising your anxiety level, because the more that you're speaking that your PMDD partner is going to cheat on you, the more real it is becoming for you, the more anxious you're getting, the more helpless you're getting, because there's nothing that you can do about it. And then you start thinking, this is absolutely the end, because my PMDD partner is going to the store and they're going to cheat on me. They're going to meet someone that's attractive and then they're going to cheat on me. Then I'm going to be alone. And you're circling that same thought. You're telling yourself the same thing again and again and again. My partner's going to cheat on me. My partner's going to cheat on me. My partner's going to cheat on me. When you're doing this circling, it is making your anxiety so high that you're not able to focus on anything else. So if your partner calls you in the middle of you doing this circling, you're not going to be able to focus on anything that your PMDD partner is saying. All you're going to be able to focus on is the fact that they are 100% going to cheat on you. You are so convinced, because you're circling and telling yourself this so many times, that it is getting into yourself. It is getting into your brain. It is solidifying itself in your brain so much that it becomes a fact. So you're like, my PMDD partner is absolutely going to cheat on me. You can use this example with any thought that is one of your biggest fears, your biggest insecurities in your relationship when you get into that circling method. Now we're going to talk about the scatter method. And the scatter method is basically when you have this worry about random things with your PMDD partner. So we're going to use, what example can I use? We're going to use the example of that I go every single month, that I go into PMDD and I begin to wonder, worry if my PMDD partner is mad at me. I have this every single month when I go into PMDD. Nothing has genuinely happened, but I will worry about my interaction with my PMDD partner by having random thoughts. So I'll wake up in the morning and we'll send the good morning, message, or I'll talk to my PMDD partner on the phone and I'll send the message. And then I wonder if my PMDD partner wants me to call them. So I'll call my PMDD partner. If they don't answer, then I'm going to be like, I wonder if my PMDD partner wants to visit with me. I wonder if he wants to spend some time together. Then I'll wonder if I'm going to do an activity, if my PMDD partner has a problem with me doing that activity. Like I travel a lot for my job. I'll say, oh, I have to go on this trip. I worry if my PMDD partner is going to be mad that I'm going on this trip. All of these words are in my mind. I have no confirmation that anything is actually come directly from my PMDD partner, but I will have so many worries all day long. I will worry that my PMDD partner wants me to contact them. I'll contact them and they'll act like there's no big deal, like they're fine. They're like, oh, my day is fine. And so we'll get off the phone, and if the conversation's short, I'll worry if maybe they're really, upset about something. They just don't want to talk to me about it. Maybe the conversation was too short. Maybe they didn't feel connected. All of these maybes and what ifs are going in my mind, but I don't have anything to tie them to. They're not directly tied together, just a bunch of random thoughts all throughout the day, random worries that I'll have about my PMDD partner and my PMDD relationship. Is this the right person for me? Should I be with this other person? Should I be with another person? Should I be with my ex? Should I stay with my PMDD partner? What is that going to look like in the future? Like, all of these worries are scattered all over the place because they're not founded on facts. They're just random worries that pop into your head. And every single time you have another one of them and you question them and you really get into that mode of like, that could possibly be true. Every single time you start to think that one of those worries could be facts, they're getting more into your brain and they're causing you to have more and more anxiety. So whether you're going through the spiraling method, the circling method, or the scatter method, all of this is creating a higher sense of anxiety within yourself while you're experiencing PMDD. And PMDD is going to take whatever worry that you have and is going to run with it. It is going to cause you to believe that it is really true. It is PMDD's job to convince you that whatever you're worrying about is actually true. And I know you may be wondering why do we worry so much when we're in PMDD? And it is because our PMDD brains are still wired to just deal with immediate issues with your PMDD relationship, immediate issues. So when we're spiraling, when we're circling, when we're scattering, our brains are built to deal with facts. And when we're worrying about things that haven't actually happened. They're based off of fears, made up things in our mind. So since all of these things that are not facts are being built up in our minds, these worries that we have, they can't be solved in the immediate future. Our brains begin to worry because we're wanting an answer, an immediate answer to these worries. And when we can't get them, we create another one. And anxiety causes us to create more and more and more. And we start to think that if we can worry about more things and ask ourselves more questions, then it is going to, eventually die out. But what happens is the more we feed into the worries, the more we feed into the worries, the worse that they get. The more our brain starts to believe the worries that we have, the more real they become to us. They feel. Have you ever worried about something about your PMDD relationship so much that you begin to feel like your worry has actually happened and you begin to react to your PMDD partner as if it has happened? This is what happens when worry has set into your PMDD brain. It is solidified in it. And the one thing that keeps your PMDD brain from activating these worries is believing that they're true. So if you immediately tell yourself these worries or these worries pop up in your brain, I'm going to give you some PMDD trauma transformational tools of what you can do immediately when you feel the worry, when you hear the worry, when you feel the worry, even when you speak the worry out loud. I'm going to give you some tools of what you can do to make sure that you don't spiral into this worry and cause damage to your PMDD relationship. So the first PMDD trauma transformational tool is I want you to remove any uncertainty that you have. When be certain you have something to worry about. Uncertainty, vagueness, ambiguousness. When you're very vague about anything, it drives you crazy when you're in PMDD. Meaning if like my example is, if you're going to the store, if your PMDD partner is going to the store and you're worried that they're going to cheat on you, the first thing I want you to do is to remove the uncertainty. Ask your PMDD partners questions that's going to allow you to challenge that worry. Ask them, okay, well, what are you going to get? Even if, because I know questioning for me is a trigger. And it wasn't until I recognized that it was actually a tool that is used that it became not a trigger for me. But immediately I used to feel like, why do I have to explain myself to my PMDD partner? Why do I have to answer all of these questions? Why are they even questioning me in the first place? Questioning my character is a trigger for me. So I began to think, wow, you must think I'm a horrible person because you're asking me these questions. When in reality, my PMDD partner was using the tools that I had told him, and he was asking those questions to remove the uncertainty. Because when you have certainty in your mind, it removes the worry. If I just tell you I'm going to the store and I'll be back later, that's very vague. What is later? When is that? What are you going to be doing during that time? Now you're leaving me in a position where I'm waiting for later. Whereas if I say, hey, babe, I'm going to the store, I'm going to be there for an hour. Do you need me to pick you up anything? I'm going to go over to Walmart. It's like, okay, when the worry comes up and it says, oh, you don't know when they're going to be back, what is going to, it's like, no, no, no. They said they're going to be back in an hour. Bam, that worry is gone. Then it's like, I don't even know where they're going. No, they're going to Walmart. Bam, that worry is gone. You can envision them on the aisles of Walmart with the people of Walmart, not worried at all. When they're saying that they're going to be back in an hour and you don't, you're just not knowing what you're going to do after that, shift your focus and plan something to do until they come back. Removing the uncertainty is getting the facts. When you remove the uncertainty, you get facts that are going to fill in those gaps that you're making in your PMDD mind. Because right now, if your PMDD partner is vague, there's a whole bunch of open space where all of those worries can just set in. And then you will begin to feel like it's actually going to happen. We're going to remove that uncertainty. Remove it, take that away so you absolutely know what your PMDD partner is doing. So in my situation with the snoring, I can remove the uncertainty with my next PMDD trauma transformational tool, which is shift your anxiety to daily actions. Shift your anxiety to daily action. So what that means is rather than burning up all of your energy on worrying about what your PMDD partner is going to do, what they're going to say, how they're thinking, I want you to spend it on something that can get rid of that anxiety. So for me, I know that's moving my body, that's working out. I 100% can get the anxiety out if I move my body. It doesn't always look the same. When I'm shifting my anxiety away from me, when I'm in that state of worry, sometimes it's just going on a walk with my PMDD partner. Sometimes if I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety, I'm definitely not doing anything steady state and really casual. I may go on a run or do some boxing or do some MMA, some jujitsu, or dance. I may dance around. Dancing has been like a huge part of my journey of getting the anxiety and the worry out because I turn on upbeat music. Now, I don't turn on any slow music because it's going to take you down a spiral of really getting into that worry. I made a mistake of doing that one time. One time I was worrying so much about a visit that my PMD partner and I had come up and I didn't want us to argue like we did before. And I got into the bathtub and started playing some Adele. And when I tell you, I was 2 seconds from drowning myself in that bathtub in a sense of like, you know how you just get so overwhelmed, you start to like slide down in your seat. Well, I was really like kind of like in an L shape in the bathtub, just kind of sitting up. And the more I listened to that music, the more I like started to lean down, curl down. By the time one of her songs was over, like I was literally like only half of my head was above the water because I got so depressed because of that worry. And it was because the vibe of the music I was listening to was horrible. So I had to be very mindful. When I'm in that PMDD worry, I have to be mindful of the music that I'm playing and what I'm allowing myself to watch. Even watching things on Netflix. Like I would be watching, they actually have a category called period pieces. And they're basically movies that you watch when you're on your period. Whereas for us, I don't suggest watching them when you're in PMDD or even on your period because you're already so overwhelmed with intrusive thoughts and PMDD, all the things. And so I had watched a couple of those movies, and they're always about how the partner is so great, and then the girl gets like she gets the person of her dreams, and they're just so in love. And then I start comparing it to my own relationship, and if we're not on good terms, and I have all these worries in my mind, I start to think that I'm in the wrong relationship, and I start to be really unsatisfied with my PMDD partner. Like all of this is happening without any contact with my PMDD partner. It's just me alone with my PMDD brain and my worries. So I want you to spend time getting out of your head in a way that is going to put you into a positive direction, not a negative one. Move your body, get outside, get into some sunlight, listen to some music. There's so many things that you can do, but there's so many things that you should not do. So if you need help customizing that, send me a DM on Instagram. I will, if you listen to this episode and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, shoot it over to me. I will tell you, like, do this or don't do that because I've tried it all. That is the benefit of getting all of this lovely advice and these PMDD trauma transformational tools from me is that I can tell you what works and what doesn't work specifically when you're in PMDD. So I want you to spend your time and energy doing things that address your worries, that actually are in alignment with the worries that you have. So if you're feeling insecure about your PMDD partner, if you're feeling like they're going to, cheat on you, have a plan. Have a plan. And then that way when the worries come, then you can combat it with that plan. And in my case, when I was worried about, you know, my PMDD partner coming to visit, I went from spiraling to circling. And the circling happened was I'm not going to get any sleep. I'm not going to get any sleep. And the more I told myself that, the more I dreaded seeing my PMDD partner. I wasn't thinking about me and my PMDD partner having an amazing time. I was thinking about the lack of sleep that I was going to be getting because of his snoring. So every single time he was texting me and was like, I can't wait to see you. I'll see you soon. I started to cringe. I started to have all of this fear and anxiety. I started to literally, I could feel the anxiety in my body like, no, 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 no. Like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. And all of that came from the worry. And then when I talked to my PMDD partner, I would lash out with that worry and be like, no, well, that's where the controlling part happened, where I'm like, we have to do this. We have to do this because I was convinced that if I made up this plan in my mind that it would take away the worry. But what I want you to recognize about worry is so unproductive for your PMDD relationship. It never solves anything. Nothing changes because you worry about it. Nothing changes that because you decide to worry about it. So I want you to begin to take action so that your brain can relax. What does that look like? What does that mean? In the situation with your PMDD partner, with the example of feeling insecure, if your PMDD partner is about to go to the store, you feel the worries come up in your brain. Don't just watch your PMDD partner go out of the door while you're sitting there worried. Go give them a hug. Go give them a kiss. Go have a quickie. Go have sex real quick. Go do something that connects you to your PMDD partner before they leave so that once they're gone, you're not having those worries and those insecurities. For me, when I was going through that, all I needed to do was have a conversation with my PMDD partner, talk about what that was going to look like. When I told my PMDD partner my worry in a way that wasn't filled with anxiety, he was like, oh, no big deal. When you come, if if I'm sleeping and I start snoring, and you tap me, I'll just go sleep on the couch so that you can get some sleep. Or if we wake up in the morning and you haven't gotten a lot of sleep, I'll handle all of the chores and stuff for the morning and you can sleep in and get more sleep. When my PMDD partner said that, I was like, oh my goodness. Like my worry went away because he was more than willing to do something about my worries when I wasn't coming at him in a way that was blaming him. When I came to him in a way that was filled with worry and anxiety, my response was, I never get any sleep when I see you. Every single time you come here, I never get any sleep, and I have to spend days and days and days recovering from your visit. And any good time that we have is canceled out because I don't get any sleep. I have to spend days recovering from it every single time that you come to visit. Every time you come home, and I'm saying visit, but it's his home, it's our home. Every single time you come home, I have to spend days and days and days of recovering from that because I don't get sleep. Well, when I came to him like that, and I came in conversation like that with all of that worry and anxiety, he was like, well, what about you? I can't get any sleep when you do this. It's like it was a blaming game. And then we went back and forth, triggering each other, back and forth like enemies, defending ourselves. But the opposite side of that, when I used the tool of just addressing my worry to my PMDD partner in a loving way, and I said, babe, I'm a little concerned when you come here about, sleep, because I need to make sure I get enough sleep. And he was like, oh, and he gave me that, that solution. Or we have a guest bedroom, which is like literally one door down with a bed in it. Like, oh, I can sleep in there. If the snoring is too much, I'll just go in there. Or you can go in there, like either one, like it'll be fine. And then I thought about it and I remembered that we have a plan. We have a plan of action. That bed, which is very comfortable, is in the spare bedroom. And there have been times where I have went and gotten sleep in that spare bedroom. And then when I wake up, um, I get back in bed with my PMDD partner and we cuddle and we're affectionate and, we're intimate or whatever. And because there's also the worry of like, oh, we're not going to spend any time together in the bed. It's like, no, that's not true. That's not true because I can lay in the bed before he goes to sleep or before we go to sleep. And then I can lay in there in the morning and we can spend time in the bed. We can take a nap in the bed. We can do other things in the bed. All intimacy is not going to be lost if one of us has to go sleep in the extra bedroom because of the snoring. We have a plan. And just that knowledge that we have a plan causes your PMDD brain to relax. And then you're no longer spiraling. You're no longer circling. You're no longer with those scatter thoughts of worry. Spiraling thoughts of worry, circling thoughts of worry, scattering thoughts of worry when you're in PMDD will cause your anxiety to flare up. It will cause you, and there's no ending in sight to it. There's no ending. It's like a thing that replays in the back of your mind. And sometimes the more you try to deny it and avoid it, the louder it can get. The louder it can get, the more repetitive it can get, the more you can feel anxious. And then guess what? Guess what comes knocking on the door? PMDD rage. So, what I want to let you know is you need to be able to use these tools so that you don't go into that spiraling, circling, or scattering of the worry. And if you know that that's something that you do, like I did, that chronic thing that you used to do, or you still do every single time you go into PMDD about random things, and you know that you need it kind of customized, this is something that you need to be able to do something about, then I want you to join my course that I'm going to have that is within the PMDD Partners Breakup Proof Academy that is all about worry. As always, you can get the course on its own as a standalone, or you can also just join the PMDD Partners Breakup Proof Academy, get the training on that. Because when you get the training, you're going to be able to have the tools, and they're very simple tools that you can rinse and repeat. So every single time you start to worry, you can have those tools to do, and you won't, and that can be one of your action plans of like, I don't need to worry because I'm going to use this tool. And you just go get it, you use it again, and then you don't let your worry ruin your PMDD relationship and your intimacy with your PMDD partner. Because when you're in that anxious state, it's so hard to connect. It's so hard to connect, but you don't have to stay in that place. You can actually do something about it. I know so many times I just began to assume that I guess I'm just going to worry. Every single month I go into PMDD, I'm going to have these things. Nothing I can do about it in my PMDD brain. Oh, well. there is something that you can do about it. Join the PMDD Partners Breakup Proof Academy. You're not in this alone. We got this.
I hope this PMDD episode helped you and your partner in your struggles within your relationship. And if this is something that you know that you need help with and you need further support, individualized support, make sure you're going to inlovewithpmdd.com and you're getting those private sessions to really work through what you're going through in your relationship, specifically in regards to PMDD. And also, I want you to leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. What this does is it helps other PMDD sufferers and partners find this show that can help them get these free PMDD relationship tools. I remember what it felt like to not know that there were tools out there specifically for PMDD relationships. So I want to make sure that you are sharing these tools with others, share them on your social media, share them with people that you know that are also struggling in their PMDD relationships. Until next episode, this is Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist. One more thing, I almost forgot. I now have the Fresh Start PMDD Partners Workbook. What this workbook can do is if you've had past traumatic experiences with your partner, past fights, past arguments, and they keep coming up every single month in PMDD, I created a Fresh Start Workbook so that you can deal with all of the traumatic experiences that have happened in the past in PMDD rage and all of these things so you can stop going through the same cycle again and again and again. So get that workbook. It comes with a video episode of the actual podcast that I recorded on getting a fresh start in your PMDD relationship. So you're not continuing the same cycle again and again and again. So make sure that you get that workbook. And if you need those individualized counseling sessions, you know where to go, inlovewithpmdd.com. Until next time, we got this. Love you.